In the last lecture, we had considered a plane wave incident on a plane interface, and we had considered a transmitted wave, and we showed that these two waves are not sufficient to satisfy the boundary condition that tangential electric field is continuous between the two regions and tangential magnetic field is also continuous. So we need something else to ensure the boundary condition to be satisfied. So in order to achieve that, we will assume a reflected wave now. The incident wave is traveling in positive z direction. Transmitted wave is traveling in some arbitrary direction, but towards positive z. But the reflected wave, because of that minus az cap gamma rz, is traveling in the opposite direction to the incident wave. If gamma rx, gamma ry are both 0, then this will be traveling in the negative z direction. Otherwise, it is traveling in some direction towards minus infinity, z going to minus infinity. Now we are ready to assume an electric field for this wave, and let that be ER given by AX cap EXR, AY cap ERY plus AZ cap ERZ multiplied by e to the power of minus gamma r dot r. Gamma r is the propagation constant of the reflected wave. Now we will write the field equations. What was that? We know the electric field, we know gamma 2, therefore we can also write down the equation for the unit vector in the direction of propagation an cap, and also we can write the magnitude of gamma 2 bar, which is gamma 2 equal to that one. We had done this before in the last lecture, and now we are ready to write the magnetic field, which is 1 upon eta 2 an cap cross E naught, because it is in the region 2. Transmitted wave is in the region 2. Yes, those of you who remember, this is that long equation. It's exactly the same that we saw last time. No difference. We can follow the same path, same technique, and write down the field equations. In fact, the magnetic field equation for the reflected wave. The reflected wave electric field is ER. Gamma r is known to us. An cap is known to us, and gamma r is equal to gamma 1. This is also known to us in terms of gamma rx, gamma ry, gamma rz. The reflected magnetic field of the reflected wave is 1 upon eta 1, because it is in region 1. An cap cross E naught, and An cap is known, E naught is known, so we can take the cross product of it. The only difference you will see is wherever gamma rz is there, it would pick an additional minus sign. Otherwise, the equation will be very similar to that we saw in the previous one. Pause, ensure that this is indeed correct. Now we will enforce the boundary condition. Now it keeps getting trickier and trickier. Let's see. First condition, continuity of tangential electric field, that is E1t is equal to E2t. T here represents tangential component, which is Ex and Ey. Ez is normal to that interface. So let's write down the field equations, the electric field equations in both the regions. In region 1, we have Ei, we have Er, and in region 2, we have Et. So we will enforce the continuity of tangential component, that is the x component, that is E naught plus Exr times that exponential quantity equals Ext times that exponential quantity. If you notice here, the term E naught is a constant, whereas other terms are functions of x and y for all values of x and y. This equation can be satisfied only if you choose gamma 2x equal to 0, gamma 2y is equal to 0, gamma rx equal to 0, gamma ry equal to 0. Under this condition, what will happen to the value of electric field? E naught will be equal to minus ERX plus ETX. I've just moved that ERX from left hand side to the right hand side. Can you visualize the waves now? Since gamma Rx, gamma Ry, gamma 2x, gamma 2y, they're all 0, the incident wave is in the z direction, the reflected wave is in the minus z direction, transmitted wave will be in the plus z direction. Correct. Now what about the y component? Y component is very straightforward. EYR should be equal to EYT. That is necessary. How about the continuity of tangential H field? This is going to be much more interesting because the equation, it's longish, that's all. So HR is known, HT is known. We write down the continuity of X component of the magnetic field. Therefore, I have 0 because incident field has no X component. Then the X component of HR equal to the X component of transmitted H field, HT. So similarly, we can write the Y component. Now really take a pause and make sure all these two equations are indeed correct. We have not made any mistake in these equations. Okay. Now we enforce the condition gamma 2x equal to 0, gamma 2y equal to 0, gamma rx equal to 0, gamma ry equal to 0 in the first equation, which represents continuity of X component of magnetic field. Yeah, gamma ry is 0, gamma 2y is 0, and gamma 2x, gamma 2y, gamma rx, gamma ry, they're all 0. Therefore, that exponential becomes e to the power of 0, which is 1. And what we are left with is 1 upon eta 1, e ry, gamma rz by gamma 1 equal to 1 upon eta 2 minus e ty, gamma 2z by gamma 2. That's it, nothing else. Now, you could rewrite this as e ry upon eta 1 times gamma rz by gamma 1 equals minus ety upon eta 2 gamma 2z by gamma 2. We can, no, we'll use it later. Now, how about the second equation, that is continuity of Y component? Yes, introduce the same conditions, gamma rx, gamma ry, gamma 2x, gamma 2y, they're all 0, and this results into a little longer equation, but not too complicated. Convince yourself that I have not missed any factor, I have not goofed up with the sign, and all the terms are sitting there in the right. Now, we combine these two equations, E1t equal to E2t and H1t equal to H2t. We have gamma 2 equal to gamma 2z because gamma 2x, gamma 2y both are 0. Gamma r equal to gamma 1, which is equal to gamma rz, which is because gamma rx, gamma ry both are 0. Good. Then we have minus erx plus etx equal to e0. Remember how we got this result? Yeah, these two we got by enforcing continuity of tangential electric field. We got the next two results by enforcing the continuity of tangential magnetic field. Yes, yes. Can you see something interesting now? Can you simplify it further? Yes, it's possible. Look at this result here. Gamma rz by gamma 1. Gamma rz by gamma 1 is equal to 1. Gamma 2z by gamma 2 is equal to 1. Therefore, ery upon eta 1 equal to minus ety by eta 2. Wonderful. We have two equations here. One says ery equal to ety. Other one says ery upon eta 1 equal to minus ety by eta 2. Yes. What does it mean? It means only two things. Either eta 1 should be equal to eta 2, then the eta 1 etas will get cancelled. But we know in our system eta 1 is not equal to eta 2. Therefore, for these two to be simultaneously satisfied, the only option we have is EYR should be equal to EYT and should be equal to 0. So beautiful. The incident wave is X-polarized and reflected wave is also X-polarized. Transmitted wave is also X-polarized because the Y components are 0. How about this result now? That's easy. We will rearrange this E0 equal to EXR. Multiply the whole thing by eta 1. You get eta 1 by eta 2. Gamma RZ by gamma 1 and gamma 2Z by gamma 2 will be unity. Therefore, you have a nice result. You have two equations here, two simultaneous equations in terms of ERX and ETX. E0 is known. Why? Because E0 is the amplitude of the incident wave that is under our control. We know it. What do we not know? We don't know ERX and we don't know ETX. You have two equations, two unknowns. It is not a great thing to solve them simultaneously, and you get add them up. 2 E0 equal to ETX plus eta 1 by eta 2 times ETX. Therefore, take out ETX common, divided by E0, and we have ETX upon E0 equal to 2 eta 2 upon eta 1 plus eta 2. This is known as the transmission coefficient. It is the ratio of the transmitted electric field to the incident electric field at the interface. So this is the transmission coefficient. It is related to the intrinsic impedances of the two media, eta 1 and eta 2. Once I know ETX upon E naught, or tau, then I can also find out what's known as reflection coefficient. So let's take this first equation and equation for tau, and you can define reflection coefficient gamma as ERX upon E naught, which is equal to tau minus 1. How did you get that? It's very easy. Take the left equation divided by E naught and rearrange the terms, and ETX upon E naught is tau, therefore we get tau minus 1. Take a break, ensure that it is indeed correct. Good, that break was enough for you to ensure that it is correct. Next is put the value of tau, 2 eta 2 upon eta 1 plus eta 2 in this equation tau minus 1, and then simplify it. You get eta 2 minus eta 1 upon eta 1 plus eta 2. You know this result, nothing new, but the way we arrived at this result is new to you. We always wondered when we read our books. They said incident wave is normal, plane wave is normally incident on the interface. There is a reflected wave, there is a transmitted wave. Both of them are going in the normal direction. We always ask the question, why do we need a reflected wave? First question. Second question, if we need a reflected wave, why should it follow the path of the incident wave? Why can't it go elsewhere? So it all boils down to the enforcement of boundary condition, that is continuity of electric field and magnetic field, the tangential component of electric field and magnetic field at the interface between the two media. Summary, quick one. We had an interface, region 1, epsilon 1, mu 1, sigma 1 constitutive parameters, region 2, epsilon 2, mu 2, sigma 2. We assumed some coordinate system where z-axis was normal to this interface. We assumed an incident wave, x polarized wave with the propagation constant of gamma 1, and we assumed a wave which is reflected in some arbitrary direction, and we assumed a transmitted wave which is also in some arbitrary direction. And when we enforce the boundary condition and we found that gamma rx, gamma ry 0 and gamma 2x, gamma 2y equal to 0, and y components of electric fields turned out to be 0. What we have is a reflected wave which is x polarized, and the transmitted wave also x polarized, both of them propagating in one along minus z direction, the transmitted wave in the plus z direction, with a propagation constant of gamma 1 for the reflected wave and gamma 2 for the transmitted wave. And we also gave the equation for, or derived an equation for the transmission coefficient. Therefore, knowing tau, that is knowing the properties of the two media, we can calculate eta 1, eta 2. Therefore, you can calculate tau. Therefore, if you know E naught, you know the amplitude of ETX. Similarly, if I know eta 1, eta 2, I can find out the reflection coefficient. Therefore, I can compute the value of ERX in terms of E naught. If I know E naught, therefore I know both ERX and ETX, and the solution is complete. And of course, we also know that 1 plus gamma equal to tau. That's some equation, something which it's always good to remember.